Hi, welcome to eoLIFE Education. My name is Rosie Grimmert, and myself and other eoLIFE experts, we come here to teach you all about how to use doTERRA's essential oils and doTERRA products. It's our mission that you don't ever have an essential oil or a doTERRA product that you don't know how to use. Hey, if this is your first time here, be sure and subscribe, hit that bell, because then every time that we put something up for you, you'll get notified. And of course, we love it if you would like this video too. We do our very best to answer every single question, and we love hearing in the comments about what's working for you. So hey, let's get learning here on eoLIFE Education. All right, here we are for the meat of the class. Oils for every age. doTERRA's essential oils are the most trusted and the most tested essential oils on the market. So we're gonna, as we go through this class, we're gonna chunk it out by age group, and you'll see there's going to be times where I'll talk about things in multiple parts, or there'll be things that overlap, right? So here's what I like to teach moms and grandmas and dads and grandpas when it comes to this age group, infants to age 2. There's a huge difference in there. Like, we don't dilute the same for an infant as we do for a 1.5 or 2-year-old. A really good rule of thumb for an infant is to be using 2 or 3 drops of oil. You can get empty roller bottles like this one. This is another blend that I made up. It's not one that's for an infant. It's just an example bottle for you guys. 2 to 3 drops of one of doTERRA's blends in here, and the rest coconut oil. That dilution percentage is going to be low enough that it can even be used really soon after the baby is born. And I've helped new mamas mix up those kinds of blends. And doTERRA's blends that we already have can be great things for that. You can see here how it shows the On Guard Touch and the Tamer. So once you have a baby that's more like a year old, using these ones on the bottoms of their feet, there's not going to be a problem with that. If the mama is like, oh, I'm not too sure about that, I'd like it to be more diluted, you can feel completely comfortable diluting it even more. Because even at a very low dilution ratio, there is still a benefit to the body and a benefit to the child, right? So I do know mamas that even their 5, 6, 7-month-old baby, they use the touch oils from our line on there. And then I also know mamas that they like to pop these open, take an empty roller bottle, and maybe put in 5 drops of the Tamer, and then fill the rest with coconut oil, and then they use that on their babies, on their kids, and they still have great results, right? Just one more note, there are roll-ons. Oh, I thought I had one here with me. You guys can see me looking around. There are roll-ons in doTERRA's line that are not diluted. So just because it's in a 10 ml roll-on, it doesn't mean it's diluted. When you see that picture right there of the On Guard Touch, can you see how the orange part looks a little bit like a file folder tab poking up, and it has the word touch on there? That's how you know that that is pre-diluted. And then you also know that the kids blends, which this Tamer is part of the kids collection, you also know that those are diluted and ready for kids, and also for quite a bit olders with more sensitive skin, right? I worked in respite and hospice for 23 years, and as somebody ages, then their skin can increase in sensitivity. So I have so many people that are olders that they like the kids blends too, or they like the touch oils also, because they're pre-diluted, they're easy for them to use. This unscented hand and body lotion is a blessing. It is another way that you can dilute the essential oils to be able to use on infants and on kids up to age 2. And honestly, I have some right here. Mine's an older tube, if you've been around for a while. See, this is an older tube. But I have some right here, and almost any time that I'm putting a blend on, I'll put a couple drops of the essential oil right into the palm of my hand, and then a little bit of this hand and body lotion, and then I rub it in, and it's just automatically diluted when you do that. This can be a really great way to support kids after bath time. Put a drop or two of Serenity and then put some of that hand and body lotion on and be able to put it on their feet, put it on their back. And anytime that you make something a routine or a ritual, remember that slide where it showed like the symptoms and then it showed the root causes? Well, if you are consistently having the symptom of, for example, a child not sleeping well at night, then talk to your essential oil expert and they can help you to come up with routines that will work on the root causes to make it so you're not having that come up as much. A diffuser is another great way to support infants and kids that are up to this age too. I recommend diffusers in every bedroom for any age. They make such an impact on our emotional and physical wellness. And sleep is one of the #1 things to help balance out everything else. So especially getting some nice restful oils in the diffuser at night, it can be a great way to be taking care of those root causes of things so that you're not then having to deal with like immune system that isn't as functioning as well, or somebody that's not doing such a great job at mood modulation, which who doesn't need help with that with a 2-year-old? I have to tell you, one of my favorite things were that age group of where they're, about 18 months to 2.5, where that independence starts to come out, and it just kind of depends on the kid, right? Is 1 drop of Balance and 1 drop of Serenity, and then some coconut oil or some of the lotion. And you can even mix up a roller where you've put in like 5 or 10 drops, depending on the age of the child, of Balance and Serenity in there, and then you fill the rest with coconut oil. And we call this our tantrum tamer because it can make such a difference. Now, I promised I'd tell you about like when you're a diffuser. This is an age group where this can be really effective. So one of the things with little kids is you want to be mindful with peppermint. Peppermint can make them breathe in sharply, and it can be frightening for the parents to be like, oh, what is going on with my baby with this peppermint, right? But it is okay that you could take a tiny drop of eucalyptus, you could put it on your own chest, and then as you're holding the child, maybe they have a stuffy nose, or you're holding the baby, then they're just going to naturally get a small amount of that eucalyptus that they'll be smelling. See how you'll be a natural diffuser? The other thing that like I used to do when my son Noah was young is he did have times where he had breathing issues. A lot of people in our family have dealt with needing some additional support with breathing, right? So I could go in the middle of the night when he was sleeping and coughing and coughing and coughing, and I could put a drop of Breathe and a drop of marjoram and a drop of frankincense in the palm of my hand, and then I would rub that on the palms of my hands, and I would hold my hands about 6 inches away from his face where he was sleeping and just wait. And slowly that cough would diminish and decline, and then I'd be able to go back to bed, right? So the thing with kids is don't be afraid to dilute. You can always go up from there working with your essential oil expert, right? So start out with diluting, and then you can always be the diffuser and kind of have that distance. Like I said, I wasn't right in his face with it as he was sleeping. I was that 6 to 8 inches away. So it was just a gentle amount that was getting there for him to be able to smell. All right, let's talk about pregnancy. I know that every single time I was pregnant, I was very concerned about being 100% natural and not putting anything in my body. I do have to say that these Terrazyme digestive enzymes are a lifesaver for the pregnant woman. Digestive enzymes are something that we all need. And unless you're having only raw foods, your food does not have digestive enzyme in there. As soon as your food is processed or cooked, then there's no digestive enzymes. So all of the different digestive issues that can happen with someone when they're pregnant, especially when you get closer to the end of the pregnancy, the Terrazyme can help support that. The copaiba is also another great oil for someone who is pregnant. Your ligaments can get loose and achy, your back can get sore, and all of those things. Copaiba is perfectly safe to use topically on all those areas. And I have had so many people use it even internally, like it suggests on here, to be able to be a support for them too. And the Lifelong Vitality Pack is a beautiful prenatal vitamin. I literally know hundreds and hundreds of women have used it for that. And then the only thing that they do beyond that is supplement that folic acid and sometimes a little bit of iron. And they just work with whoever their professional is that's helping them get ready for their birth to determine what would be the right amount of those things for them, right? The basil and the fennel are two different oils that can be lifesavers for helping to boost a healthy milk supply. The way that a nursing mama would do this is after you nurse the baby, you can just put a drop right on your breasts, not on the nipple area, and then it will be completely dissipated by the time that you're nursing the baby again in 3 to 4 hours. Now, you will hear people talk about how peppermint can have an impact. I want you to know that it's only about 20% of women that have an impact from peppermint on their milk supply. And then it actually needs to be quite a bit. Now, if you're someone that you've noticed that, it's okay. You can just drink some more water and you can have that routine of using the fennel. It's one I've seen the huge results with, but I know people also have results with fennel and basil together, right? So I think that's really important information because it's one of the biggest things that people struggle with is how to regulate that milk supply when the baby is first born. All right, let's talk about school-age kids. I already told you all about the Lifelong Vitality Pack and how amazing it is, but did you know that doTERRA has PB Assist Junior? So it's probiotics for kids. They're in a little like tube, and you know, honestly, every single kid that I know, including my grandkids, they think that it's like a treat because it tastes so good. You just snip open that little tube and then they just will have it kind of like a pixie stick. In fact, we have to make sure to tell them, no, this isn't a treat. This is a supplement. So you only get one per day, right? And I have a lot of adults that will use it to double up with their regular PB Assist too, because it does taste really good. We also have the chewable vitamins and the liquid omega. These are a couple other products that can be used in another age group too. Many times when we're working with older adults, it can become tricky for them to swallow pills again. And so if that's the case, these chewable vitamins can be a great way for them to get what they need, and the liquid omega to give that brain support and to help make sure all those healthy omega fats are being in the body for the hair and the skin. That can be a great way for someone that swallowing pills isn't working for them anymore. And then the On Guard beadlets, these are perfect for little kids. Even little kids are just BB size. Can you see that in the picture? Even little kids are able to swallow one of those On Guard beadlets and get a little bit of On Guard internally. So I love both of these things for school age kids. Here is a picture of that great kids collection that I was telling you about. When this came out, Noah was younger. I'm going to say he was about 9. I think he was 9. And he just thought that was so great that doTERRA had made essential oil collection that was just for him. And we got him his own set because I was completely comfortable with him being able to take a look at it and decide which thing did he need right then. And we talk about being able to empower our kids with everything that's going on right now, that they can recognize that they need something, reach for an essential oil blend, and have been taught how to like apply it behind their ears or apply it on their wrists or put it on that area of concern, right? Now, lest you think that these are only for kids, they're not. I use these blends all the time. In fact, that stronger blend is one of my favorite ways to support my immune system, even though it's formulated for kids. Now, this isn't like it's just On Guard in a different bottle. These are actually different oils, ones that we know work really well for kids. That's, for example, just like the Tamer, that's not just Digest Zen in a bottle for kids. It uses spearmint instead. I have a lot of adults, actually, they prefer the Tamer to be able to roll it on their tummy when they have digestive upset over using like the Digest Zen Touch, for example. because that spearmint aroma is just so much more pleasing, right? They like it better than the aroma of the digestin. So these aren't just for kids, they're for big kids too. That thinker blend, that one is super great when it's time to focus and do that schoolwork. This is one of the things that when we were doing at-home school here at the end of this school year, Noah was set up at that desk right over here in my office, and he had that thinker blend right there with him so that he'd be able to run it up and down his spine on his neck and put a little bit on his temples to help him to be able to focus. Because sitting at a computer for stretches at a time is not necessarily natural for kids, right? So that was a perfect thing for him during that time. You can get this an entire collection, just like it's pictured here. And if you do that, then you get these cute carabiners and caps that go on the top. If you guys get that, I recommend that you actually silicone the carabiner it's a silicone lid, that you get some silicone and put them on, because over time they'll slip and the bottle will drop off. Or like if your kids are older, they might not care to have the carabiners on there, and then you don't have to worry. The little silicone sleeve will stay on that bottle. The other thing that's great about buying the whole collection all at once is you get these little cards, and the cards are meant to be that any caregiver for your child will be able to at a glance see what that blend would be for. So they can be a great thing even if kids going to grandma's or going to daycare, that caregiver would be able to have those flashcards too. You can also buy each one of these individually too, but you don't get the case, you don't get the carabiners, and you don't get the flashcards. All right, let's talk about adolescents, preteens, and teens. The HD Clear skincare line is designed for this age group. Now, the one in the middle, that 10 ml roll-on, that is meant for spot support, or they can roll it right on their hands and be able to just apply it on their face. So for Noah, this is a lifesaver. If he doesn't use it, then suddenly he has just bumps everywhere, right? Just bumps everywhere. He's not the best at doing the cleanser, but when he does use it, it makes a difference. That's one of those things that if you can help them have a routine or help them to see the reason why it's going to be great for them to have a routine. I've noticed for whatever reason that girls seem to be a little bit better about washing their face than the boys do. And yet when they do use the cleanser and then do that spot treatment, that makes a huge difference. One of the things that we see results with for our son is when he uses the HD Clear oil blend, even if he doesn't wash his face, and he will take the moisturizer and he'll put a little bit on and put that on afterwards too, which has some of that HD Clear oil in there too. So even though he's not the best at using the cleanser, we still see a difference with him with using those other two products. Now, one thing that was suggested to us by another friend was to have Noah put that HD Clear cleanser in the shower. So that's what we're going to try next. We're going to try having him have the cleanser in the shower and the other parts like for the daily routine in the evening, and see if that's going to be a better fit for him. Now, he started when he was about 10 or 10 and a half, taking a half dose of the Lifelong Vitality Pack. He'd used the children's vitamins up until that point, and I think he just felt like he was ready to not be taking the kids' ones anymore. And so we started him out with 1 per day and quickly moved up to 2 per day for him, which is a half dose. And that was just perfect. Now, Noah, even though he's 12, he is as tall as me, and he's the size of a man. And so we now actually are having him on 3/4 dose of the Lifelong Vitality Pack. Now, here's what I want to let you know about that Lifelong Vitality Pack. It's something that when we do our vitamins every morning, we put his things out in a little dish so he can just grab them when he's having his breakfast. On the days when he forgets to do that, he's in a rush, or he just doesn't do it because he's a pre-adolescent, adolescent, right? he even notices a difference. He'll be like, oh, we'll get to the afternoon or evening. He'll be like, oh, I didn't take my vitamins. They make such a difference for him. Something else that I think is really important and not to be overlooked is emotional support for this age group. So having a diffuser, having them feel like they're empowered to pick what they're going to put in their diffuser, and having them be able to help make that choice on getting some essential oils that are specifically for their emotional support. We personally have different oils that are right there in Noah's bedroom for him. And many of the emotions oils are the ones that he loves. He loves cheer. He loves motivate. Forgive is one that he'll turn to a lot. He also has his own balance, and he has his own serenity. And he knows at different times when he's frustrated or he feels like nobody's listening to him or his friends have wronged him. It's not like he always thinks to turn to it immediately, but he will turn to it. And he'll put some on, he'll put some in the diffuser. The other thing that is beautiful at this age, if you continue to carry it forward, and we have 5 sons, for those of you that don't know us. We have got 4 olders, and then we have Noah, is 14 years younger than everybody else. And keeping that routine of healthy, loving human touch as your kids move through pre-adolescence and into adolescence can make all the difference in the world. Even if it's that you have a young man and his muscles are sore and he's going to allow you to put Deep Blue on his back because his muscles are sore. That healthy human touch is so important. It's so important. And it's great if you can keep up the routine of there being something at bedtime or even in the morning too, where that human touch is there and you're applying essential oils and helping to support them in that way. So for Noah, one of the things that he'll pull up his shirt at bed and he'll let me put oils on his spine. So many times that's what we're doing with the serenity and with the balance. And in the morning, he comes upstairs to our room and we've got some personal worship time that we do together in the morning as a family. And he will let me put like Aromatouch on his feet or on his spine, or a citrus oil on his spine or on his feet when we're listening to scriptures and reading together. And it just helps get his day off to a good start, right? And how great is that, that even though he's a 12, almost 13-year-old young man, that he'll let me do that. And lest you think I don't understand, remember those other 4 olders already went through this. And I did make a point to have it be that at any time that they were open to me being able to put some oils on their back, or maybe if their knee was hurting them, or put some oils on their feet, that I would do that, because keeping that healthy human touch during these years is really important. Now, Clary Calm is on here, and I honestly, when I teach the women's health one, I'll say that any female between the ages 11 and dead needs to use Clary Calm. And I don't say that lightly. It really makes that big of a difference. This is one of the products that you can use both ways. You can use it for when symptoms are up, when things are flaring, and you can also use it every single day as a support that does amazing things to take care of the root cause of what's going on. So if you've got not just a girl, but even a boy where maybe hormones are going all over the place, then the Clary Calm is your answer. And if they don't love the aroma of it, then you can go ahead and put it around the ankle bones on the feet and teach them to do that. Say, hey, what have you got to lose? Try it for a month. Use it around your ankle bones when you brush your teeth every single night for a month. And then we'll come together again in a month and see what we think. Is it better, right? So have them help make that decision with you, right? That can make all the difference in the world. All right, so when we're talking about adults, I can't say enough about the Lifelong Vitality Pack. Our lives are busy. We have a lot going on. Sometimes the quality of food that we're reaching for, or how far apart our eating is, it can be stretched. The quality of food that we have just in our food chain supply right now is diminished over what it was hundreds of years ago. the nutritional quality is not the same. And many adults, actually, they'll go out and they'll keep getting different supplements, and you end up with a whole box of things. I'm one of those people that I used to do that. Every single thing I need is in the Lifelong Vitality Pack. This is the only supplement I've ever taken where I didn't feel like it was just an insurance policy for later, which is kind of funny because that later is actually the age I am now, right? This is the only one that I feel different taking it. And it's not because there's caffeine or stimulants in it. It's because my body actually absorbs the nutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, and the omegas that are in here. They don't just get flushed out. If you've never taken doTERRA's Lifelong Vitality Pack, you can take it for 30 days. You can even take the whole thing, use it all the way up. And if you aren't satisfied with the results, doTERRA has a money-back guarantee on this product. So you really don't have anything to lose. Most people notice a difference at about 2.5 to 3 weeks in. They'll be like, oh, I'm not as achy. Oh, I'm not falling asleep in the afternoons. Oh, look, my fingernails are looking more healthy. I mean, again, we're talking about the root cause of things, so it affects so many things in your life, right? Another thing I hear all the time is we're like, oh, I'm sleeping better, all from the Lifelong Vitality Pack. So this is a key to feeling your best as an adult. The Terrazyme, again, has a major place in this age group. As we age, our body produces less of its own digestive enzymes. And if you'd like to help make sure your kidneys and your liver are supported and feeling happy, putting 2 to 3 drops into 8 to 16 ounces of water of lemon oil every single day, that is a great foundational habit. It's going to help be just gently removing the things that you're exposed to every day. It basically like helps clean off the receptor sites on your cells so they communicate better, and you'll feel brighter and more alert. And here's a nice little side effect is most people end up drinking more water as they're putting those citrus oils in their water, so then they get those additional benefits too. Now, remember, you don't want to put it in plastic. This is a brand of water bottle, this Voss, that you can get these at most grocery stores. You definitely can order them on Amazon. And it's an inexpensive way to get a glass water bottle. So then I can put my citrus oils right in here. I put a couple drops for this. It looks like it's almost 13 ounces, and it seems to be the perfect amount for me. Citrus Bliss is an oil that is only meant to be aromatic, but this was one of the first ones. Serenity and Citrus Bliss, these were the two that I first got for mood management. And the Citrus Bliss smells a lot like one of those orange sickles, maybe, if you can remember those. And I haven't found male or female that doesn't love this aroma of Citrus Bliss. So why is it here with a diffuser? Let me tell you why. This is one of those ones that, let's say you have a diffuser down in the main living room area of your house, maybe your kitchen, like wherever people gather. You can, when you get up in the morning, go down and put 4 or 5 drops of Citrus Bliss in your diffuser and turn it on, and it will impact the mood of everybody in the house. Or if you're having people over, it will impact the mood of everybody that comes into that room with that Citrus Bliss. It is one of my favorite aromas, and I know that you guys will love it too. These two things, the Motivate Touch and the Adaptive Touch, they are amazing to put across your shoulders or anywhere that you have tension. And I know that's not necessarily what they're made for. You think, wait, Motivate is not for emotional, it's an emotional support oil. And so I'm going to want to smell that and put it on to be motivated. Yeah, it's true. And the adaptive is really positioned as helping to reduce stress and with anxious thoughts and feelings. It can really help you to ground and center when your thoughts are racing all around. But when you put the two together and put that tension on your shoulders, you get all of those benefits. And I'm telling you, you guys, this is an amazing combination. And then here's more of those citrus oils that are really great in a water bottle. Now it does show you a metal one. This is another way that I drink my water. This is metal, right? and I feel comfortable putting my oils in here, but I don't do it as much because over time, a long period of time, then the citrus oils in particular could still end up having an impact on a metal water bottle, but I know that they want it all on a glass, right? Some of my favorite things to help make sure that I'm drinking that water and getting that great citrus inside of me is, like, I like to take a couple drops of grapefruit and 1 drop of cassia. I do that I have one of these that's larger. It's actually twice the size. And so that's the recipe I'll do in twice the amount of this. And another thing that I really love is a couple drops of lime and 1 drop of ginger. That is one of my favorite things to put in water. It's so good. All right. Now, they call this the glory years, but then I was like, but I like to dilute my oils when I'm putting them on, and I'm not necessarily the same age as what they're showing in here. So again, Lifelong Vitality Pack makes such an impact. My mom, when she was under the care of her physician as she was declining, she was in hospice care. Every single thing that she was going to use on her, or every single thing that she was going to take by mouth, it needed to be signed off by her physicians, just like a prescription would be. And so I brought the Lifelong Vitality Pack in because she'd been taking it for years. And both her oncologist and her managing physician, both of them separately looked over them and said, these are some of the best that I've ever seen, and she can take them as long as she can swallow. And so I loved getting that confirmation. That was back in 2012. I loved getting that confirmation that particularly for this age group, that Lifelong Vitality Pack was a really good solution for this age group. So how do you know if somebody has a skin sensitivity and needs to be diluting? Well, basically anytime that there's a redness or it feels uncomfortable to the skin, then put coconut oil over the top. If it still feels uncomfortable, put more coconut oil over the top. And then over time, you and the person that you're working with will come to understand, oh, I pretty much like always need to have a 25% dilution when I'm using any of the essential oils. And again, I just want to make sure everybody understands that even at a 50% dilution, you're kind of balancing out the amount that flashes off and the amount that gets absorbed. So don't ever hesitate to dilute your essential oils. If I put like 2 drops of frankincense on my hand, and then I put 4 drops of coconut oil on there and I rub it in, I'm still getting 2 drops of frankincense all over my hands. I haven't made it so that I end up with less in total. I'm just helping the skin to be able to absorb it in a way that works best for me, right? The bone nutrient complex is one that honestly I think should be started for women in more in those adult years, to be taking 1 per day. This is actually absorbable with the vitamin D that it has in there and the magnesium as well. And so our body can actually put it to use. This is something that I use daily. To me, I think of it as like a little insurance policy. I don't want it to be that I am impacted by the strength of my bones when I'm in my 60s and my 70s. I still want to be able to be hiking and be active and to know that my bones are up to everything that I want to be doing too. We always talk about Symphony of the Cells in our continuing ed classes, and this particular protocol, these 2 that are shown here, the basic and then the cardiovascular, these ones are really good for almost anybody. Now, what is this? Maybe you've never heard of it before. The Symphony of the Cells are different ways to do targeted applications on the spine and the bottoms of the feet with your essential oils. You might have heard of the Aromatouch technique, and that is a way to achieve homeostasis for all the systems. Symphony of the Cells is targeted support for specific symptoms. And if you're working with, let's say, a child, maybe they're 5 or 6, then you can either use diluted blends and just put them on them already pre-diluted, Or instead of doing 2 to 3 drops of each of the following oils, you can just do 1 and then do more like 5 or 6 drops of the fractionated coconut oil and spread it out on their spine, rub it over their back, put it on the bottoms of their feet, right? Hey, it's Rosie Grimard again. Thanks for watching the video. We're so happy to provide things here for you to learn all about using your doTERRA oils and your doTERRA products. Hit subscribe, like the video, and share this with somebody else you know that would love to learn too. See you next time.